Hello there, this is Coach Sammy33, and it's time to recap the season for the Florida State Seminoles. You see, record-wise, we finished 8-4, 6-2 in conference, so not bad. Kind of a wonky start. Had a really tough game at Boston College. We knew we would. Rock a great user. And then Georgia Tech at home. So the first block, two conference games, we split. Both games were struggles. Defensively, a lot of struggling going on. Boise State giving up 42 points. Uh, things not starting out well in terms of the defensive side of the ball. We played decent defense against Boston College until the fourth quarter. Georgia Tech and Boise State didn't look good on that side of the ball. And then we had the weird part. So you get a win against Cal on the road, able to pull away in the fourth quarter, and then SMU, the game that we should have lost, and it was definitely ripped apart and examined, analyzed, whatever you want to call in the live chat. We end up getting a win we shouldn't have been able to get, and followed up by going on the road. So confidence low here. You felt like we really stole a game, and then confidence super low. You go into Clemson, take a two-score lead, and even after Clemson fought back, we were able to match them blow for blow. But we couldn't get that score on the last drive to be able to try to win the game. We would have went for two on the road. So unfortunate, but it did kick off a 4-game win streak. So we were able to kind of get things going. 10 points against UMass, 10 points against Duke, win those games by 20 plus, and then Miami fall behind in the first half. Great second half defensively, and we get the win 38-28. North Carolina, I can't even say anything great about the defense. It was a shootout, and we needed two pick sixes to try to hold off North Carolina. We just had a really hard time stopping their offense. Ended up winning 52-50 thanks to a late field goal. But then we crash and burn at the end, completely undressed by Notre Dame. Rough outing on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And then Florida, we matched them blow for blow early, but not able to get anything going on offense in terms of points in the second half of 7 points. They get the win. So finish 8-4. Two rough losses to ranked opponents. That's okay. Memphis, our reward for bowl games. So the defense has struggled. We're going to look into that a little bit, but in an AAC matchup, the offenses in that conference have looked pretty good. So our work will be cut out for us. On paper, they are rated about the same or close to the same as Florida State. But I think Florida State is probably the bigger team. So in terms of size, I think this is a matchup that favors us. It is a G5 school. They've got some talent. We'll see how that bowl game plays out. In terms of conference, you can see we finish here. I don't know where we finished actually. So Boston College was 7-1 in conference play, which is why they played Clemson. And you have Miami and North Carolina, Florida State, and Georgia Tech. We're all 6-2. I know we have wins against Miami and North Carolina. We lost to Georgia Tech. I don't know who falls where. I'll just say, we finished tied for third in the conference. Not sure exactly where we slot. Still 6-2, especially after losing that initial game to Georgia Tech. Kind of had to get things going right away after that loss. And we played pretty well in conference play. A lot losing to them. I know in terms of it being an upset was the thing, but Georgia Tech still had a really solid season with 7-5. Had a win against Miami as well, and played North Carolina, Notre Dame really close. So they had a really good season. We just unable to make enough happen in that game. And then the Clemson game, that was one that really, you try to steal. No pressure going in with a loss already. We just couldn't pull it off. So looking at the stats, points-wise, team stats, 37th in the league, 387 points. Not bad. The top third of the league. First downs, a little bit higher. Total offense, 23rd. So offense putting up points. Running, this is very different than what we've had in the first 3 seasons on this game. We sit in the 80th spot, so barely staying in the top 2/3 of the league, running the ball a little bit harder. Florida State's offensive line didn't perform great. They're not that good in terms of some teams that we played against that had a harder time creating holes. But when they were able to, the running backs were able to eat. So we still break 1,000 yards as a team. Passing, this was the big one. So 3,500 yards. We finished 12th. This is definitely the highest I've ever finished in the NDL of passing. Third in conference. I know we're behind North Carolina. I would assume we're also behind Miami. Third down percentage at 54%, so 21st in the league, like that. Don't like the fourth down. I mean, 50-50 chance, right? You'll take it, but I would prefer higher if we're going to have to go. Red zone, 11 touchdowns, so that's kind of disappointing when you think about it. We got 11 red zone touchdowns on a season. That's about a little less than one per game. So you have to try to find the context in that because you're scoring outside the red zone. Are you turning the ball over in the red zone? That number seems pretty low. The question is why. Don't have the context for it, but I know we finished 104, so that's not good. Field goal 7. You want to see that number lower in terms of a touchdown to field goal ratio. 23 turnovers. Definitely turned the ball over a lot late, but we finished about middle of the back. 23 to 2 per game. You live with it. Lost 4 fumbles, 19 thrown interceptions, punt return, 6 kick return, because we were running everything out with Holmes. The number 1 in the league, 1,500 yards just from kick returns. A couple of scores, we'll look at that a little bit closer. Total yards, 5th. I'm sure that number right there played a big role. And then pass run rate. Not used to passing this much, almost 55%. Basically 55-45 split. We prefer to be a little bit closer to 52 to 48 in favor of the run, but it is what it is. You have to pass the ball in order to move the ball with the offensive line. Let your speedy receivers get open, run through zones, or break free and man. Get defense, a struggle. So we're 8-4, but you see we're plus 34 in points. That's kind of scary. You think you have 4 wins, 4 more wins than losses, and the separation there, pretty close. So 87th in the league, very bad. First downs, 205, bad. Total offense. So we didn't give up a ton of yards in the grand scheme of things, I guess, compared to other teams. That seems kind of weird. But we were ran on pretty well, and that was a recurring theme that caused a lot of problems for us in a lot of games this season. Gave up 1,500 yards. That's over 100 yards a game. We were really struggling to stop people running the ball. And that's with the game against Miami where their running back, I want to say, had negative yards or like 3 yards rushing. So really, got 1,500 yards within 11 games. Passing, 2480. Not good there. Third down percentage, I mean, it was good when we got to it. Just a 38% convert for the opponents. But they did convert 6 to 9 fourth downs and then 2-point conversion of 3 or 4. So that's not good. This also not good. The TD field goal ratio in the red zone, 19 to 3. So not our favorite. Turnovers, we got 26. We do get 2 per game. Fumbles recovered 5, and then interceptions 21. So we finished in the top half in interceptions, top third in fumbles, and then return yardage is kind of meh. We were okay. We didn't give up any scores there. A couple of big punt returns. Actually, maybe we did give up a punt return. I don't remember. And then the pass rate, pretty much 50-50. A lot of teams able to run the ball. So that's why you have that. Now, in terms of player stats, some standout players. You got DJ, 214 out of 317. He throws 3,500 yards, more TDs and interceptions. Always a good thing. 25-21. Take that. Completion percentage at 67. Definitely not a terrible season. And with the struggles we had with the offensive line, being able to convert that high of a rate on completion percentage, especially if we had to go downfield a bit more, I will gladly take that along with that TD interception ratio. I was concerned, especially the way the season started out. On the ground, Lawrence leading the way at 150 carries, 829 yards, eight sorry, touchdowns, 232 after contact, 14 broken tackles, so a little over one a game. Lucas was second in carries, 61 for 374. So they combined to rush for about 1,200 yards. It's a couple yards over, 3 TDs for him. They both had a fumble. Both those fumbles were lost. Lucas did break 4 tackles. And in terms of long runs, 9 runs over 20 yards. Williams in short yardage, 4 touchdowns on the left carry. Like that. The receiving game, Benson definitely the standout guy. Just a couple more receptions than Douglas, but bigger in terms of yards after the catch. 1,031 yards. So he does break 1,000. That game against Florida, being able to be productive after getting shut down by Morrison helps. He had 11 touchdowns, so about 1 per game. A couple of drops, but 250 yards after contact, so important for him. Douglas second in yardage, second in receptions, second in touchdowns, 5. So not bad for the number 2. Brown over 20 receptions, Thomas over 20 receptions, then Lawrence out the backfield over 20 as well. A couple of guys getting mixed in, a lot of guys breaking at least 100 yards, and a decent amount with double-digit catches. So good to see. Offensive line, Byers, ouch, got 20 pancakes but 6 sacks, so he struggled, especially later on in the season. Jones, he gave up 4 sacks with 27 pancakes, probably the best in terms of ratio, at least is Smith, 23 pancakes to 0 sacks. He'll take that. Then the defensive side of the ball, tackles, Conrad, safety play. It's usually not a good thing when your safety leads the team in tackles. He had 74. Got Murphy, 69, and then Brown playing in the slot with 59. So a little bit of a problem there because you can see a linebacker and 2 DB. Again, we struggled stopping the run. That's a big reason why we lost up front. They had to rally in to make tackles, and if you're making tackles in the secondary, it's probably because they've already reached the second level. So struggling there. Tackles for loss though, stud. Patrick Payton, he will be missed. 30 of them at 14.5 sacks. So he dominated in terms of sacks, which is a little depressing when you think about it. Look at that. He had 14.5 sacks. The rest of the team barely reached half of what he had. He was our pass rush. That was it. Glad to have it. Man, you like to see some of those other guys produce too. In terms of picks, Conrad led the team in tackles, team in interceptions. He had 7. Runs 1 back, 7 deflections as well. In terms of fumbles, you see 7 were forced, 5 were recovered. Very fortunate to have that ratio. And then defensive touchdowns, 4 for the team. I know 2 were against North Carolina. I believe 1 was against Duke. I don't remember where the other score came from. Maybe it was Cal. Those are your 4 defensive touchdowns. Special teams, rough start for Fitzgerald, but after missing a field goal in the first game of the season, as a matter of fact, his first kick, he went 12 for 12 after that. We'll take that. It was long, 40. Not really, going crazy there, but we'll take the result. And then Holmes, he not only had a great season for us in the return game, he also won the award for best returner. I think it's the Guy Award. No, it's not the Guy Award. Jet Award. Sorry. For the best return man in the season, you see 57 run or attempts, 1,550 yards, basically 3 touchdowns as a kick returner, and then punt return. He had a touchdown as well, so 4 touchdowns. He came close to breaking another punt, and he had probably 3 or 4 big returns that don't count for touchdowns that put the ball either deep in opponent territory, breaking their 40-yard line, or getting close to midfield. So he was very instrumental and definitely helped when we were struggling on the defensive side of the ball. Clearly told by the fact that he has 57. And then lastly, our sheet. You can see big picture how things finished out. Strength of schedule, we were 28th, so just outside the top 25. Offense is ranked 23. Again, I don't understand how this works. Our opponent, 50. Defense, 55. I definitely don't understand how we're ranked 55. It felt like the defense was clearly the weak link of the team, so I'm surprised to see they're ranked so high. Defensively, with their opponents, higher or around the same range, 58. And then total opponent record 92 and 69, win percentage of 57% for our opponent. The average Massey rating, 49. Not that bad. Quad one, we go 2 and 3. Those 3 losses in quad one would be Clemson, Notre Dame, and Florida. We go 2 and 1 in the second quad. Our loss there, Georgia Tech. 1 and 0 in the third quad, 3 and 0 in the fourth. Top 10 Massey games, we had 2. We lost both. Top 25, 1 and 1. And then top 50, 4 and 1. So that's kind of how things break out. And then ranked 1 and 3 versus unranked 7 and 1. E4, 6 and 3. Group of 5, 2 and 1. Notre Dame got lost. Home field advantage definitely was not. If anything, it felt like we were playing at a neutral site. Or my opponents may feel differently, but just in terms of just the play, we didn't play terrible at home. It's just that it didn't feel like we had really the home. But it was better than playing on the road. So there's no complaint there. We go 3 and 2. But we always play better on the road. Focus is a little bit higher. Home field advantage playing a factor. You want to make sure that you're playing your best, especially early on in the game. You don't want to make decisions that make things difficult. And then we average 32 points a game. We give up 28. And you can see our team's ranked. Notre Dame finishes 7th. And the Massey, 5 for Clemson. Florida at 18. So those Reds, scary. That's kind of how things finish up. So now we have a bowl game against Memphis. That'll close out college football in the 25 version. And then we'll see what the 26 version holds. But we don't just have that. We also have the NIT as well. We're in bracket number 1. So we'll see how that plays out, see how the bowl game plays out, and see if we can have a nice, solid ending to the season in this game cycle with Florida State.